Actually, let's get the author now. We've said enough about him, but now we shall see what the young man has to say for himself.
Which voice?
Which voice will you answer him? But you know, but the thing about him is, and this is the interesting thing, and we've all observed Vikram's career, even though it started with him, you know, doing impressions, his act along with him evolved, along with his mind, his powers of observation, evolved over the years. And I think the book is sort of a fruition of that journey almost, because it no longer was just about voices, it was his own voice, things that he was seeing on the cricket tour, and that's how he enthralled everybody with his act. But the question I want to ask Vikram is, Vikram, you know, you always had this observational style of humor, and a lot of people here have been fortunate enough to see your act and to see you live. Why this book? I mean, the first question people would ask is, hey, if I've seen you on stage and you've done all these observational pieces, then this book is funny as well, but why the book then?
First of all, thank you everybody. I don't have that kind of money to pay these guys to speak good about me, but still they've done it. Thank you very much. Yeah, the book. You know, doing stand-up comedy, cricket comedy in front of cricketers and cracking jokes about them is one thing, but this book is more than that because there are a lot of things that I could not have said as part of my stand-up routine, and which were insights of the game I learned from the Tendulkar, Dravids, Yuvis of the world. And that is why I thought humor is a great way of putting those insights into a book, and that's why I wrote the book. Something that cannot be said on stand-up comedy because you won't get a punchline in saying something insightful. So it's important that you write it so that people have more time to smile as well as learn something from it.
So if I was a reader, what would be your like your 3-line sales pitch for this book? Because you know it's a tough competition out there right now. There's people buying full-page ads in newspapers. We won't name them, of course. You haven't done that. But if you had a 3-line sales pitch, what would you tell people? What's there in this book that they should?
You need a 3-line sales pitch when you have a title like How Sachin Destroyed My Life. Seriously.
So really, I've never understood. Do you have like a secret tape of his? How have you got him to do this?
3 things: How Sachin Destroyed My Life, forward by Sachin Tendulkar, quotes by Rahul Dravid and Harsha Bhogle, articles and observations from Gaurav Kapoor. I have bought all of them. They have to say good things about me. But yeah, I mean, most importantly, it's a fan's journey, as Raghav mentioned, that Indian cricket has, you know, the Barmy Army happened, the Bharat Army happened. There's nothing in India which represents the Indian fan. I think this book does it because it actually documents a lot of things happening, including the media. There's a chapter on the media. I've talked about how journalists are close friends during a cricket tour, but they share their baselines but never their headlines. That happens, so I've covered that aspect. I talked about Mane Kaka the Masseur, who played a very important role with making food for the Indian cricket team. Sunandan Lele, who we always talk about the fact that Indian cricketers need food on tours, and Lele and Mane Kaka have provided them the ammunition to play well abroad. And talking with Tendulkar, one interesting thing Sunandan taught me was when you're sitting with the master, you are actually doing a satsang. So just capture everything for your book. So I think lessons from the master will be just one chapter, but that is something that people will like to read about this book, and therefore there's no sales page after you have Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, and all of you put together.
Why do they talk to you?
Why do they talk to you? Because I have noticed that when I was talking to you for the first time, you were not listening to me, you were only watching to pick up some mannerism. So why would anyone talk to you?
Because I normally don't comment on he should have opened the face of the bat and should have hit it towards the cover point.
Let me tell you one more story about Vikram. There's this guy I met who came and told me, sir, do you know Vikram Sade? So I said, yeah, for better or worse I do. When he talks to you, whose voice he talks in? So now you know this is the voice he talks in.
Interestingly, there are 2 voices which kind of got me into this cricket comedy circus that I can call, and that is something which Sneha and the team at Sony noticed, and luckily from there the momentum started of me becoming a stand-up comic. And my best voice, I'd like to do it in front of you because that is what changed my life, and that's Tony Clegg and Sachin Tendulkar, because that will kind of give some perspective of why I became a stand-up comic. My theory was the more you praise Sachin Tendulkar, your life becomes good in India. That's what I've done. Tony Clegg did that 15 years back. We switched on the TV sets. What's all happening here? This is a wonderful atmosphere. Sachin Tendulkar's on fire. He smashed them all over the place. What a play. cut to Sachin Tendulkar. Most definitely, I thought the wicket was great. And this is something that Sachin has liked, his family has liked, and that was the turning point into the world of cricket, where I talked about Rahul Dravid of concentration. And my theory is that if you can behave like Rahul Dravid, your wife will never fight with you because you give 100% one ball at a time. That's what is important. So I've tried to cover humor, but making the larger points. That's my sales pitch.
I have one question for you. Have you ever, as far as I know, you have never offended or hurt anybody, but have any of your takeoffs on people, has anyone ever got offended or has anyone
That's because you don't know about his dates.
Okay.
When he goes on dates, he ends up offending a lot of people. See, because a girl doesn't like when you talk back to her in her voice. You have to stop that.
How is this dress looking?
You can't do that. It's wrong. He is my half-girlfriend.
So yeah, actually I've been lucky because one of the impetus to my career was also the fact that cricketers like to be imitated. Gundappa Vishwanath around 8-9 years came to me and said, I love your act, but you did not imitate me. So somewhere it is there in their back. Yeah. And one of the key roles in stand-up comedy is if the cricketer is sitting in front of you, don't say anything which will hurt him, but when he goes, you can say what you want.
Is this book like that also? You pitched about people behind their backs?
All written documentation. So
It's all there, right? Vikram, there's a lot of stories you put in this. I think the thing that we liked as well, because we see it and a lot of people don't, we all know the names, we know, and the faces we see as far as cricket is concerned. But when you travel with the team, and like we do as well, there's a lot of unsung heroes, a lot of sort of faceless heroes who are back there. You've included a lot of stories about them as well, haven't you?
yeah, absolutely. I mentioned Mane Kaka, I mentioned Sunandan, I did not mention Mohandas Menon and his wife Valsa. I don't know if they're here. Statistician for the Indian cricket team and so many tours, and it's very interesting because I consider Mohandas Menon as the luckiest man in the world because Mohandas and his wife Valsa have watched 8 years of cricket together, and she is the co-statistician in this journey. And if your wife is watching cricket with you and you're discussing DRS at lunch and reverse swing at night, it can't be a better marriage. So I've actually captured their journey, which is very, very interesting. And I think one of my protagonists is here.